Hey, happy Monday. So this week's video is all about the top 4 things that you'll hear when planning an event. A lot of times people come to me and they ask, what happens if someone says this, or what happens when someone says this, or what happens about this? And I wanted to get down a couple of the common responses that I hear not only from vendors but from my clients, and what you can do to avoid them and what that actually means. So, number 1, no. That's the number 1 thing that I hear from people whenever I'm planning events, not only for my own business, but also for other clients. No is the number 1 thing that I hear, and it is your job as an event planner to figure out how you can turn that no into a yes, because we live off of yeses. Sometimes if you're locked into a venue and you say something like, hey, we'd really love for some storage, or we'd love to ship some things to you in advance, and you hear them say no, how can you sweeten the deal? What can you do as the event planner to turn that no into a yes? And whether that is you're working with a sponsor and you say, hey, I'd love 30 notebooks for my next event, and they say no, that might mean looking to a different sponsor, using your network, using your connections, looking to someone else who can help you out and who will say yes. So the number 1 thing you're going to hear when you're event planning is the word no. And so you have the choice to either take that no at face value, or you can take that no, turn it into a yes, or find someone else who's going to say yes to you. Number 2, the one thing that makes me cringe just a little bit when somebody says this to me, whether it's a vendor or a supplier or even a client, is we'll figure it out when we get there. Which, as an event planner, there are so many things that are going to go wrong, quote unquote wrong, at your event, that figuring it out when you get there, you won't have time to figure it out when you get there, because when you get there, there will already be too many other things that you've said, I'll figure that out when I get there, and then you didn't figure it out, and now you have all of these urgent things, and you don't have a plan. So when you say, we'll figure it out when we get there, I would say create a plan as much detail as you possibly can, say the table's going to go over here, the chairs are going to go over here, people are going to walk in like this, and have that basic plan A. And if that plan A doesn't work, if people are walking in some different door, and you can always go to plan B, but always have a plan A. Plan out as much as you absolutely can, because things will quote unquote go wrong just based on human behavior or things you didn't think about. And the more you have planned in advance, the better off you are. So eliminate, we'll figure it out when we get there, from your vocabulary. Number 3, we don't have any record of that. Oh my gosh, that just blows my mind. And a lot of times you're working with vendors who are working with tons and tons of events, not only event planners, but tons and tons of other events. And so if they don't have something either written down in their notes or emailed to you, then if you got a price discount from them and you don't have it in email, you might be out of luck. And so it's really, really important that everything you can do to get it either in an email, in writing, or in a contract, that's going to save your butt down the line. So try to avoid we don't have any record of that stuff. And then the last thing that I always hear is the words, it's non-negotiable, which is a total myth, because every single thing is negotiable. It just depends on how hard you want to push. And I did a post on Friday about quote unquote the N word, which I say is negotiation, because people really, really don't like the word negotiate. And so if you are feeling uncomfortable about negotiating, I would say hire an event planner. Sometimes event planners are, you can hire them for some pre-event planning work. And that's the best thing that you can do, and is to have them negotiate for you, because if they can get you a lower cost or a lower price, they're worth their weight, or they've already made up the money that you spend on them, and then some. So 4 things. No, you're always going to hear no, so figure out how you can turn that no into a yes. Number 2, we'll figure it out when we get there. Ugh, makes me cringe. Number 3, we don't have any record of that, which also makes me cringe. And number 4, it's non-negotiable. Everything is negotiable. So yeah, leave a comment below if you have any questions about any of these things. I'm hosting a webinar in a couple weeks, and I'll link that down below as well. And I look forward to seeing you next week.